It is well known, though, that motorsports are dangerous for those taking part, but an accident yesterday highlighted the potential risk for those watching it as well.
50-year-old Joy Robson was killed while watching the first stage of the Scottish Rally Championship after a car collided with a crowd. We can speak to our motor rally journalist and editor of iRally, Greg Strange, who joins us from our studio in London. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What can you tell us about the rally itself and the course?
Well, the rally is the opening round of the 8-round Scottish Rally Championship. It was on the accident happened on the opening stage about 6 miles in. We don't know the precise details. A police investigation is underway, as is a parallel investigation by the Motorsports Association, which is the UK body responsible for motorsport. And I wouldn't like to try and second guess from London what actually happened yesterday.
Rallying in this country, Greg, it has a very good safety record, both for spectators and for competitors. But out in the forests, although at cluster points you do get marshalling, really people are free to roam wherever they like. Does something need to be done to try to tighten things up further?
Well, the training of marshals is extraordinarily high in this country. In fact, we have a worldwide reputation, and we train marshals around the world. I think Britain will be sending teams to 27 different countries this year in order to teach them the British way of motorsport, of rally safety. We have a very high safety record. Now, look, any death in motorsport is a death too many, but it's important to remember the statistics. In the last 22 years, 3 people have now been killed, 3 spectators have now been killed during motorsport events. There are 400 or so rally events each year, some 20,000 stage miles each time. The statistics, when you compare that to the 5 or 6 people who will be killed on the roads of Britain today, just bear a certain amount of comparison, but 3 deaths are too many. Motorsport is dangerous. Safety is not an optional add-on, and tremendous steps are taken to make sure it is as safe as it possibly can. There's a comprehensive safety plan in place for every event. Safety cars go through the stages before the stage is allowed to go live. There's radio networks throughout the stages so that people can raise the alarm if something happens. There's a medical team, a doctor, an ambulance, a trained intervention and recovery crew at the start of each stage. Everything is done to make it as humanly safe as possible. Accidents will happen. The important thing is to minimise the risk and eliminate it wherever possible.
But you're absolutely right to highlight everything that is done. But nonetheless, if I choose to wander off into a forest to watch a forest stage of a rally, in many places there's nothing stopping me going and standing by the edge of a track as a car comes past, and no one to say you must stand. I mean, there's obviously an element of personal responsibility, but still people can go where they like generally.
Generally they can, and there is, as you say, a huge element of personal responsibility. In the end, it's down to you. You shouldn't put yourself at risk, you shouldn't put other people at risk, and above all, you should always listen to what the marshals are saying. Now, the people who run motorsport in this country have been doing it. We've been doing it for over 100 years. We know what we're doing in that sense, and I have no formal position within the sport, but I've been involved with it for 3 decades. The marshalling is of the very highest quality. We have some 10,000 marshals in this country. Over that, there's 1,000 or more registered officials. There's always room for more, by the way, if anybody wants to get in touch with a local motor club and come along and marshal. It's like the London Volunteers who made the 2012 Games so successful last year. But you have to listen to what the marshals tell you. And if you want to be stupid and stand in the wrong place, then I can't stop you doing that. But you are putting yourself and others at risk. Now, there is an element of personal responsibility here, just as there is when you're crossing the road.
We don't know what did happen in this individual case, and of course an investigation has now begun. Are you saying then that no more can really be done than is being done?
Well, you can never relax. You cannot compromise on safety. It is a zero-tolerance area. You've just got to keep on pushing and pushing away. But it's important that people should always recognise that the marshals who are standing there in their bright orange jackets with marshal on, telling you not to stand there, are doing it for a reason, because there's been a safety assessment of the course, of the track, of the stage, and those are no-go areas. Everybody gets that briefing who's involved in the sport, in the event, before it gets underway. The marshals are briefed, the officials are briefed, the media, the photographers are briefed if they're going out onto the stages. With the spectators, there are all kinds of information given to them during the event and around the event and on the websites for the event, things you should do and things you should not do. And one of the things you should not do is stand too close to the track. You certainly shouldn't cross across it. You should always try and keep something solid between you and where the car might come. A tree is not a bad insurance policy on these occasions. But let's get down to it. 3 deaths in 22 years is a reasonably good and almost enviable safety record, but it doesn't take away from yesterday's tragedy.
OK, Greg Strange, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
It's at 16 minutes past 8.